All right, guys, what's going on? So in today's video, we're going to be getting into a really cool product. This is the SureFlap Microchip Cat Flap Connect. It's kind of a mouthful to say, and that's because it does so many cool things. It's really cool, and we've been using it. It actually solved a problem for us. One of our cats became very territorial when we got this new kitten, and they kind of got along. They kind of didn't get along. It wasn't like any violence, but our one cat decided to start marking inside the house, and we tried all kinds of stuff, taking her to the vet, all the things. So we started letting her outside. It seemed to get a little bit better, but it was still the hassle of letting her in and out. And then we had two other cats. And so for these two cats, we're like, well, we're not sure if we want to let them outside yet, but maybe, depending on how it would go, right? So this particular door allowed us to do all of that. The only thing was we had to have our cats microchipped, so we had to take them to the vet. There is an RFID collar. We went the microchip route because we just felt like it was safer. If their collar would come off and we weren't home or something, they'd still be able to get back through with the microchip that is between their two shoulder blades. The whole process went really well. Actually, I was kind of surprised. Supposedly, it's like smaller than a grain of rice, this little chip. It's got a little transmitter in it. It's basically inside of some type of plastic, medical grade plastic, I'm sure. And then it transmits a code back to the door whenever the cat gets close to it. This works both directions too, which is really cool because some of these doors will only allow any animal out and then your animals back in, where this one allows you to control both directions. So all of our animals can get back in, and sometimes we limit certain animals from going out the door. At least we did this initially, and we may resume that in the future, depending on their behavior, what's going on and such. But we do allow them all three at this point to go out. And that was something that we didn't think we would get to, but we were able to control that access, which I think is really great. It's one of the great things about this particular product. Whenever you first get this thing, arrive and unbox it, there's not really much to it, to be honest. There's just a few parts that you have to unbox. This one comes with something called a Connect Hub. This is how you get your app access to work. Basically, the Connect Hub, it looks like a cat with two little ears that light up. It has Ethernet, it needs power, and it transmits wirelessly to the Cat Flap Connect. Keep in mind, it needs to be within 30 feet, and we found that the further we got and the more walls we went through, it didn't really communicate reliably. So I would say have it as close as possible. The problem with that is, depending on where your door is and where you're getting your internet from, you may have to have an Ethernet line run through some part of your house, potentially, or get a remote bridge. This is a wireless bridge. So unfortunately, the Cat Flap Connect does not do Wi-Fi. It has to be wired into your internet service with a wire. But from there, it's wireless to the door. And so that part works pretty good. So you basically register your cats by bringing them to the door, pushing the little button, and then it will register them with a door. You do this in a certain order during the setup in the app. This is the first step. Then you register with the hub, the app, and everything, and then it will list your cats coming in. The very first time I tried this, one of my cats didn't come through to the web. And I think this was because we weren't close enough and it lost the data and it didn't sync one of the cats for some reason. I haven't had any other syncing issues since moving it closer to the door. It seems to be pretty reliable. There is some delay in there that you're going to have to wait. Like, be patient whenever you're registering everything. It does take a while for everything to start syncing and working well, but the door basically takes 4 AA batteries. It gives you an alert when those are dead. One thing just to advise you on getting your cats comfortable going in and out of this thing is be patient. If you have a cat that's very skittish, take your time, encourage them with food, and they'll eventually start going in and out the door. The other thing is, we had one of our cats, Mandy. We decided to keep her as an indoor cat for a while, and she sort of still is. She only goes out for maybe 3 to 5 hours per day. She's mostly an indoor cat, and we weren't even letting her out at all. Well, she was looking out the window, out the cat flap during the day, and it will tell us that, because even though she doesn't have access, it will tell you when a cat goes up, it senses them through their microchip, and then if they just don't even go out the door, then it knows they're still inside. Once they peep their head out the door and open it, it may still register them. This is pretty rare. Usually a cat makes up its mind. It's either going in or out. But at first, they might be a little bit leery about going out. So you might get some false positives there, but eventually once your cat builds the confidence to go in and out, it'll register and it'll know which direction the cat's going as well. So it works pretty good. The notifications are really reliable. I get them on my Apple Watch. I'm getting them on my phone. I'm getting alerts all day long that the cats are going in and out. If you've never cut a hole in a door before, or you're not comfortable with cutting into a screen door or glass, however you install this, there's multiple different ways. We went the door method with the jigsaw. It worked okay. My jigsaw blade wasn't exactly straight. So then I had to come in later with my Sonicrafter and I cleaned it up. And also, my door wasn't exactly flush, it had some indentations. So that's something I'm going to have to work on before winter. And we're going to do some winter testing. So be sure to subscribe for that because you're going to want to see how this worked out. And we'll just have to see how our cat's behavior go because it's really a lot about the behaviors. Those are hard to predict. Like you don't really know how your cat's going to act. You figure that out later. We also elected to get a cheap webcam that we just sat on our back porch and we've been monitoring the cats going in and out. This was a Geeni brand, I think. It wasn't that much. I will have a link for that down in the description as well. So far, the camera and the door seems to be showing that it's pretty accurate on the exits and entries. Sometimes one of our cats will sneak out of another door. If like a guest comes over and they come in our other door, our one cat knows to sneak out that way. And so when that happens, it's inaccurate. It thinks she's inside where she's out. She can still get back in with her microchip. But unfortunately, because of that, she snuck out. She's not accurate within the app. Now, if you see this happening and you have the app nearby, you can quickly go through and actually mark the cat as in or out. The app works pretty good other than a few hiccups here at the beginning, trying to get one cat to come through and I had to wipe the door and start fresh to finally get all 3 cats input. It's pretty much hands off. It's just it just gives you information after you get everything set up. You can set a cat to indoor or outdoor. So if you want your cat to come in, especially at night, then you have to do that every day manually. You'll essentially have to go in and set your cat to an indoor at night. There is a curfew, but it's across the board. It works for all of the cats. That would be one nice thing is maybe it would be nice to have a night cat setting where certain cats were allowed to go out even during a curfew. Like our one cat, since she's kind of a problem child, we would just like let her do whatever so that she doesn't pee. She goes outside now and it's been a big help. It's actually reduced the amount on our litter boxes as well. So that's been kind of nice. However, there are some other risks with sending your animal out. Your animal's going to potentially get fleas, ticks, and bring in mice and chipmunks dead. This can happen, especially until you get a chance to train them to not do that. But just be aware that this will likely happen. They're going to be killing stuff, right? So I would recommend something like Frontline or Revolution from your vet if you have these issues and you want to really treat them like once a month. That's probably the way to go. There's certain products that you need to avoid out there because they're not very good for your pet. So be wary of those. And yeah, that's the main drawback was just them killing stuff. And they brought a mouse in and laid it in our pantry there. And I do feel kind of bad for the mice, but I also can't really deal with the smell of pee any longer. Definitely getting more exercise. Our one cat is starting to finally lose some weight. She was 15 pounds and now she's 14.4. So she has lost a little bit of weight. We've been trying different things with her food and that seems to be working. So yeah, we put a lot into the cats. Part of this video was just to kind of help others. I feel it's a complicated thing. It's just one of those things where you have to do what you have to do. And I feel like this one has been working for us. Definitely going forward, I feel like it was wise. I also feel like the microchipping, since it's so non-invasive and easy to do, it's probably the way to go rather than get the RFID colors, just because those could come off while your animal's outside. And this way, your cat always has some form of identification. We still did put collars on them with a name badge just in case a neighbor would pick them up or something that doesn't know about the microchip. They would know how to quickly get the animal back to us without first taking them to the pound and having to wait on the microchip scan and such, because that could take a while all weekend and we'd be wondering where our cat was. They've been sticking around in our backyard. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach me down in the comments and I will try to answer as best I can and give you information about this particular product. I felt like it's been a win-win for us because, like, honestly, we had tried so many things prior to this to get this to work. And this one just seems like it's working. It's giving our cats some freedom. You know, it's just nice not having to let them in and out, and also knowing where they are. It's definitely a peace of mind. Even if you're on vacation, you know, I can lock the house down. I can keep them inside if I want. I could do this remotely. If there's a problem, if there's something going on outside, maybe if there's like a report of some coyotes or something, then I can lock them in. See how it works this winter. I'm a little bit curious to see how well it holds in the heat and keeps the cold out. Cue the memes. But we'll just have to see. I don't know at this point. I'm looking forward to finding out more, and I will let you know in a subsequent video. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Be sure to like, subscribe, all the things, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, we are testing to see if big fat cat can get through a tiny door. Come on, go through. Go through. She went through.